Do you want to have an unfair advantage in life? Or maybe even acquire a skill or a talent that you may want? Or how about even becoming a master of an instrument, even if you never picked one up in your life before? Today, I'd like to go over how you can do that and how it is possible. And it's a phenomenon known as quantum jumping or quantum leaping. And quantum jumping has been a real fascination of mine. And I'm going to go over this method of joining and emerging your future self that already has that desire that you want. It is a method of merging with your future self that already has the desire that you want. And this is done either through meditation or also known as SATs, which you can do before sleep or bed. Yo, what's up? Johnny here. I'm really glad you're here today, wherever you're at in the world. If you do need some help or guidance or need some one-on-one, do check out that link in the description. So Neville speaks of a method that you go into your future self as in a future day or the time of when that event is supposed to happen. And you create this vacuum of space, bringing that desire back into this current moment. And this time creates a vacuum in space, which puts your desire into action and brings that future self into your current moment now. And then all you're doing is living the moment, expecting you to align with that future self. Dr. Joe Dispenza also shares on how you imagine yourself connecting to the field or to your future self, that whatever desire that you want, the potential, whatever you is out there, there's a you that has a desire that you want. There's a you that is a professional musician. There's a you that has, famous artists. There's a you that has the things that you want. And there's a you that is struggling that just can't even get by. What Dr. Joe Dispenza shows and teaches is that we can tap into these quantum potentials and bring that potential into our reality in this moment, also known as quantum jumping, quantum leaping. Burt Goldman also explains this as he would coin it quantum jumping. Burt Goldman also has teachings on quantum jumping, that you would jump into your future self, also known as a doppelganger. You meet your future self, and whatever talent or desire that you want, you find out from this doppelganger that already has the desire that you want, and you find out what you need to do or how you can achieve whatever it is that you want. If you have a particular question in mind, you would ask them what you would do next. If you're trying to be a millionaire, what would be the step that I need to take? And you would ask this to your doppelganger. You would go through a portal. You would ask these questions to that future self, and you would receive downloads or information or a thought, or you'll hear it through the day, and something will come into your mind of an idea or an action that you have to take. Burt Goldman was also known to achieve hidden talents. In fact, he was able to sing. He's never painted in his life. And also he's in the Hall of Fame for photography, which he didn't even know. And all he asked his doppelganger is, what do I need to do to become better at photography? And it says, take more pictures. But then he always kept coming back into that every meditation to ask more and more questions. And then eventually he says that he wants you to take pictures, but it has to be stand still in one particular position in one place. So he would end up taking a whole bunch of pictures in one place. And then he realized as he laid out these pictures, it was like a collage. It was like a bigger picture of one, right? And then he was able to start envisioning this by emerging or merging with his doppelganger that already has the specific talent that he wants. But there are also cases that sometimes in life we don't get what we want. Mr. Goldman says that sometimes we might ask for things, and if we don't receive a download or information, sometimes those things aren't meant for us. But does it mean that we don't have to get those? I mean, it's really up to us how to decide to take that or not, right? But these are all through meditations and even Neville's work, where you're just laying back and closing your eyes. During these meditations, when asking, we ask the subconscious for a reply. So when I say that we do askformations instead of affirmations, you're asking your subconscious out loud, or you could say in your mind, but I think saying out loud will be an easier way to impress the subconscious. You would ask your subconscious questions of whatever particular desire you want, and then you will see signs, signals from the universe. You will get downloads. You will get particular ideas in your mind, and it's really up to us whether we're going to take action on those ideas. But when you do get information or downloads or a particular idea, you should not think or second guess and just act. But a lot of times, there are a lot of people that think that a lot of these things are not real, it's impossible, manifesting isn't real. And if they think it is woo-woo, in fact, the CIA themselves released documentation and unclassified this process called the GateWay process. And how that would work is that you would use stereo headphones, and the frequency would be slightly different from the left ear and the right ear, because we are using most of our brain power is from the left, is our logical reasoning mind, and the opposite side. So what we're trying to do is tapping on the other side. So what happens is when two frequencies are a little bit off, the binaural beats, right, it creates a third wave, and that wave is the vibration or the vibrato, right? And that's the wave, that pattern we're getting into. So the science behind that is that it's creating brain coherence. A couple of videos back, I talk about the brainwave states. And this is when you're getting into the alpha state, which is that frequency where your receptive state of either downloading information or reprogramming your subconscious mind. And with this GateWay process, once you're able to be proficient with it, you don't really have to use these binaural beats anymore. But it's known in these documents through scientific research that it does help with manifestation, thought transmission, mind reading, psychic abilities, astral projection, remote viewing. A lot of these things have been released for the masses, and it must have been hidden for so long. We know that this stuff is real, and it's surprising that people want to still doubt that this is possible. If you're getting value out of this and you don't want me to disappear into the ether, make sure to subscribe below. And if you already are, I really appreciate you. Do comment below and let me know any ideas that you have, or any other methods or processes of manifestation that I should be aware of, or I can look into. If we really look at different countries when it comes to the consciousness, there are a lot of other countries that are studying deep into the conscious mind, right? Like the Russians or whatever, right? They would study the conscious mind because they knew that we were grown up. You got to think that over millions of years, or however long we were on this planet, that we were always using the logical reasoning mind, the survival mind. So we kind of closed out the creative side, or closed out the unseen side, right? And you always had, in some kind of tribe, right, you always had that spiritual guide, right? That one wisdom teacher, right? You had this teacher that was the wise one, right? That was able to tap into the spirit realm. But a lot of the cases, since we were born into that, it's kind of like it's been programmed in our DNA over our entire human civilization, that we're using that logical reasoning, programming mind, and we're not really using the other side of the unseen, the spirit realm, and the connection to everything, and using our other abilities, right? But a lot of these methods and a lot of these teachers, a lot of these things have similarities between one another, and all of them have the same effects of you getting down and impressing the subconscious mind. So what we're doing here, it's like we're tapping into a radio frequency, and when you turn on the radio, you have to be in tune with the frequency of that radio station. So when we become in tuned with that frequency of whatever desire that is, that future self, then we can quantum jump into that future self and become one with that desire. So really it comes down to, whenever you decide to go to sleep, when you're ready to do sats, Or if you like to do it through meditation, I would do this for 10 to 15 minutes. It usually takes about 5 minutes to tense up one part of your body until you relax all state of your body for 5 to 10 minutes. And imagine yourself going through this door and meeting your future self and deciding what desire that you want and embody that. And when you come out of this state, you want to just assume it, become it, live by it, and do not waver from whatever it is that you want. You become that whatever it is that you wanted to be. And eventually your reality will start conforming to your beliefs. And we have to start believing in our own mind that what we put into it can manifest out into existence. Science already proves that it is possible. And they've already done studies on thoughts and patterns and putting wires to the brain, that someone that can run the mile, that the same brainwave patterns can still be signaling in the mind as if it was running it when someone closes their eyes, as if they were really running the race, but they're not. They're doing it through the mind. And if one can do something through the mind, then one can put it out into reality, into existence. Everything that we see in our reality is all done through imagination, right? I've explained this before. The microphone that I'm speaking through is done through imagination. Someone had to create that, or a team of people had to create whatever it is that we want. Everything begins with that, which begins with the mind and the thought. And when we believe our thoughts and we believe in our own mind and have the belief and conviction that it is ours and there's nothing that can stop us from having that desire, then all there's left is for that 3D reality, for the one that we want to come into our life. And if sometimes we get doubts or questions about it, or even becoming depressed of it, we shouldn't be so physically attached to the manifestations that we want. We put this out into the quantum field and expect it to come, but we do not wait for those things to come. We create more things, because what have you noticed in your reality? Everything I've seen up into my reality today has been all manifestations, whether I was aware of it or not, to come into my reality now. So we just need to embody what it is that we want, and do not question reality. Do not question when is it going to come. If you want to know about time, you can check out my other video on time. Everything has its time. Even in the GateWay process, when they talk about when manifestations come into existence, that there is time involved. And yes, we do understand that some things can be instant and some things can be manifested quickly. But if you were to say, I want to meet Elon Musk, right? Then how is that going to happen instantly? So we have to think that maybe he has to jump on a plane, he has to book a ticket somewhere, he's going to fly into town, maybe he had to meet a couple people, and he's going to go eat lunch somewhere. And so happen that you are eating lunch in the same place, or you are walking in the same vicinity or parking lot, and you happen to run into the guy, right? And then you become best friends. So everything has its appointed time, appointed hour, right? So we cannot rush things, because sometimes rushing things, we can have unexpected results because we're forcing our manifestations to come quickly, right? So there's no point of trying to force something to happen quicker than it should, because everything will have its appointed hour, appointed time, and everything's going to come into your life right when the timing is right, whether it's meeting your perfect partner, or whether it's the success you want, or whether it's the new career or job. Everything will line up when it's supposed to. So instead of waiting for the thing to happen, we should focus on other manifestations, or even just focusing on the moment in our life and enjoy the things that we have around us, and expect that the things that we want are going to come just as well. And when we're enjoying the moment and living our best life in this moment, it's only going to want to bring you more of that happiness, that you're living that joy, you're living in that passion, you're living in that reality as if it was already there, right? Because if we're needing something outside of us and then we finally get it and then we become unhappy again, we're just going through this same cycle. Well, whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you want, it is already yours. We just live in this state and believe in that state of that desire, and don't waver from the wish fulfillment, because it's going to happen. If you still want to learn more about manifestation, check out this video here to level up your reality.